There's a condition that affects millions of people and you can't see it. No scans pick it up, no blood tests flag it. The person carrying it usually looks to everyone around them completely fine. It's called fibromyalgia, and you've probably heard it described as a woman's condition. But it's a group of people hidden inside this hidden condition. People almost nobody talks about. And the reason you don't hear about them is the whole point of this video. So let me tell you what's actually happening here, because it's not what you've been led to believe. If you ask almost anyone, including a lot of doctors, they'll tell you fibromyalgia affects women far more than men, around 9 to 1. That number's everywhere. It's in the textbooks. It shapes what a doctor expects to see when someone walks through that door, and it's largely wrong. Here's the problem. That 9 to 1 figure comes from counting people who've already been diagnosed. It tells you who ended up with the label. It doesn't tell you who actually has the condition. And those are two completely different questions. Because when researchers ignored who happened to get diagnosed and instead applied the actual criteria to an ordinary unselected group of people, the picture changed completely. Diagnosed cases around 90% women, but meeting the actual criteria, closer to 60% women, which means nearly 4 in 10 people with fibromyalgia may be men. One study even found the number of men whose symptoms met the criteria was around 20 times higher than the number of men who have actually been diagnosed. 20 times. That's not a rounding error. That's a whole population of men hiding in plain sight. So if men are there, why don't they show up? It's not one reason, it's a chain of them. Because for years, fibromyalgia was diagnosed by pressing on tender points on the body. And that test tends to flag women more easily than men. So men were quietly filtered out before anyone even considered them. Then there's the doctors. If every reference says 9 to 1, a busy GP faced with a man with widespread pain is simply less likely to think fibromyalgia. That's not bad doctoring, it's a pattern that's been reinforced so many times it's become the default. And then there's the big one, the stigma. Fibromyalgia has been branded a woman's disease. So for a lot of men, admitting to chronic pain and exhaustion already feels like weakness, and being handed a condition seen as a female's one makes it even harder to accept. So they don't. And here's the part that nobody wants to say out loud. Men, as a group, just don't go to the doctors the way women do. Because the ages of 20 and 40, between those ages, women visit their GP about twice as often as men do. Over 40% of UK men say they only go when they're convinced that something is seriously wrong. So put the whole chain together. A test that missed men, doctors primed to look elsewhere, a label that men don't want, and a group already far less likely to walk into the door in the first place. So of course the official numbers show hardly any men. The system was practically built to miss them. So if any of this is landing a little too personally, the exhaustion that sleep doesn't even seem to touch, the pain that moves around and never quite settles, the brain fog, like you're always a step behind, and being told that your tests are normal while you know in your body that something is genuinely wrong. That's not you being weak. That's not you making a fuss. And it's almost certainly not just stress. Here's what I've come to understand. The issue isn't the pain itself. It's what's driving it underneath. Fibromyalgia isn't damage in your muscles or your joints. It's a nervous system that's learned to run in a state of high alert. A system that no longer starts from zero. It starts already switched on. Your mind and your body have learned a pattern, and a pattern, unlike damage, can be changed. That's exactly why I created Fibro Freedom Therapy, because I kept meeting people left to manage a condition that they barely understood, and men especially undiagnosed, dismissed, or never taken seriously enough to reach a diagnosis at all. Fibro freedom therapy isn't about masking symptoms or coping better. It works with the mechanism underneath, the nervous system, the load, the learning loops, the constant state of alert that keeps the whole thing running. So if you're a man watching this, quietly recognizing yourself, hear this clearly. You're not the exception. You're part of a large hidden group these statistics were never built to see. Your experience is real. You're not stuck. You're running a pattern, and that means that there's a way out. If this resonated, please hit like and subscribe so you will be the first to know when I release a video. Also, click the link in the notes to find out how Fibro Freedom Therapy works. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.